Deltarune Chapter 2 spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Deltarune Chapter 2 was absolutely phenomenal, but it left us with a lot more questions than answers, like, who the heck is the knight? Why are we getting a new bird origin story? Why is there a genocide-esque route now? But the question that I have seen brought up the most is, what's the deal with Ralsei? Our favorite fluffy boy was acting pretty strange in Chapter 2. Some people have even begun to wonder if he's hiding something from us, or if he's straight up evil. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily rule those off the table, but I believe that many of the arguments people have brought up can be solved by finding out what Ralsei's true identity is. Ralsei is a prince with no subjects who lived alone in Castletown until Chris and Susie arrived. He is presumably the prince from the dark from the legend of the Deltarune. As a character, he is sweet, compassionate, and pacifistic, who cares deeply about his friends. He also bears striking resemblance to Asriel in Undertale, and likely the Asriel in Deltarune, based on Susie's reaction when he takes off his hood, and Noelle's comment on his appearance the first time she sees him. His name itself is an anagram of Asriel. Ralsei seems to have a level of understanding of the game and its mechanics, initially giving us and Chris a tutorial on how to engage in an encounter, and frequently encouraging us to use mercy on enemies. The amount of things he knows about the quote-unquote real world seems almost suspicious. He knows Chris and Susie's names before they even introduce themselves. Queen also calls them by name, but this is likely because she's seen their search histories. Ralsei does not have the same excuse. He knows about the Card Kingdom's Lightworld equivalent, the Unused Classroom, a level of knowledge that has seemed to drive some other characters to feeling like life is meaningless, or even to insanity. Ralsei is able to get from Castletown to the cyber world without Chris or Susie carrying him there, and most importantly, unlike other Darkners, he doesn't turn to stone when he is away from his own fountain. Other small details also don't seem to add up. He says he doesn't know what being Ralsei-like is. He brushes aside Chris's concerns after the Spamton fight. I'm not going to get into the details of tea theory. If you're interested, check out the link in the description. But the other characters have some strange reactions to drinking Ralsei tea. Chris has no reaction when drinking the tea, and Noelle says that it doesn't taste like anything, and both gain comparatively minimal healing from it. In the neutral route of Chapter 2, Ralsei doesn't reveal what the roaring is until the very last moment. He can show you, the player, what Susie is doing when she's in a completely different room. And strangest of all, he quotes Flowey's words from Undertale directly when giving you the tutorial.
I'm Mr. Imposter. I'm Mr. Sus.
While any of these details are strange on their own, combined, they sound like Ralsei is a very strange character who is hiding something from us. Most importantly, who he really is. Almost every Darkner we have seen so far has a known Lightworld equivalent, usually an inanimate object. We've seen a beat-up stuffed animal, a playing card, and even the task manager on a library computer. The only character whose Lightworld equivalent we don't know is Ralsei. There have been a few proposed theories that I've seen so far. Number 1. Ralsei is the green crayon missing from the Dreamer residence. As far as I can tell, this theory stems from the fact that Chris and their brother Asriel may have played at the school because their mother is a teacher there. Maybe at some point they brought the crayon box from home to school and back, and the green crayon was lost in the scuffle. I can see how someone might think this, as Ralsei is green, and when he wears his hat, it almost resembles the tip of a crayon. But I don't think that this flavor text is that significant. Ralsei being a missing crayon wouldn't really have a significant emotional impact on the story. Number 2. Ralsei is the headband Chris used to wear when they were younger. When you talk to Toriel at the end of Chapter 1, she reminisces about Chris getting older. She mentions that when Chris was little, they used to wear a headband with red horns on it, and that they would wear it all the time. She wonders what happened to it. We can only assume that Chris wanted to look more like their family members, and feel like they fit in as the only human in a town of monsters. They may have left the horns in the closet at the school when they stopped playing there with Asriel, and those headbands became the person we know as Ralsei. This could explain why Ralsei seems drawn to Chris, after only knowing them for a few days. Ralsei does have pink horns, unlike the other goat monsters we have seen in Undertale and Deltarune, which have white ones. But the fact that the horns are pink and not red is the deal breaker for me. Maybe in future chapters we'll see if Toriel, Asgore, or Asriel have pink horns if they enter the Dark World. But for now, I think that the red horned headband will show up at another point, and not as Ralsei. Number 3. Ralsei is Asriel. No. There are many more videos that go deeper into depth. Check the description for more, but I'll give my 2 cents anyway. This theory implies that Asriel decided not to go to college and ended up living in the supply closet or something? I guess there are a lot of details that connect Ralsei to Asriel, the letters in their name, their physical appearance, and some shared dialogue. But when we look closer at the theory, it doesn't hold any water. If Ralsei is Asriel, why does Chris only gain a little health from drinking his tea? Why wouldn't Noelle have pushed the issue on them looking alike more? Why would Asriel have a colored dialogue sprite the way that only Darkners do? And it would just make Ralsei blushing around Chris, who is supposedly his own sibling, really uncomfortable.
Stop it. Get some help.
Number 4. The Onceler. Okay, we get it. So who is Ralsei? By my theory, Ralsei is, drumroll please, hometown! Wait. Okay, I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. I think that Ralsei is the embodiment of hometown. It explains so many little details. Why does he look like Asriel? Because Asriel is the heart of hometown, so he takes on his form. Think about all the people around hometown who bring up Asriel to Chris, or mention that they're excited for him to come back soon. Everyone knew him, and everyone loved him. Ralsei is the culmination of the town's being. Ralsei's kind and caring personality is partially derived from Asriel's innocent little church boy attitude, and partially from the general attitude of the people there. It's easy to see that hometown is a tight-knit community who cares for and looks out for each other, the way that Ralsei does for his friends. This is also why Ralsei seems to know what lies beyond the closet, can teleport from place to place, and doesn't turn to stone when he's away from his own fountain. I imagine he knows hometown like the back of his hand, because it practically is. He is everything, so he can be anywhere. This is why he can show us what Susie is doing when she's away from us, and how he knows that you hugged his dummy when he's not nearby. He knows the name of the Lightners because they are a part of him. I don't know if he consciously realizes where his knowledge of what lies beyond his kingdom or immediate surroundings comes from, or if it's just an innate part of him, like a reflex. I believe that the importance of each Darkner in the light world corresponds with how much power or understanding they have in the dark worlds. It is natural for the King of Spades to be the actual king of his domain, or for Queen, the only functioning computer during the internet outage, to be in charge of the entire computer lab in the library. Both know who the Knight is and loosely know what they are doing. If Ralsei is the very embodiment of hometown, it would be natural for him to have the greatest knowledge of the legends of the Deltarune and the Roaring, and whatever other pieces of the story he still holds. His untapped strength could be part of the reason he takes on a boss monster-like form, and why he is the keeper of the Fountain of Pure Darkness. It could also be why he is the one to give us a tutorial, because everything happens in and through him because he allows it. I guess that when we view him through this lens, he almost takes on a godlike status in a near opposite parallel to Asriel in Undertale. He uses his power to save the world for the sake of good, instead of trying to destroy it to see what happens. I think that Ralsei only recently came into existence when the town needed him most, when Asriel went off to university. He sprung forth in a place that probably held great meaning for Asriel, but that he hadn't actually been to in years. Ralsei was left alone in the closet until Chris and Susie finally came to help him fulfill his destiny. A lot of the strange things he does can probably be chalked up to being socially inexperienced. He doesn't know how to be Ralsei-like because he's never had a chance to grow and develop as a person. Ralsei doesn't push Chris to be honest about their emotions after the Spamton fight, because he hasn't had a lot of experience with people being severely distressed and just wants them to stop freaking out.
He's a guy.
His tea doesn't taste like much to Chris and Noelle because it's like the way you can't smell your own house, because you're so used to it that it just doesn't seem to be there anymore. Their apathy towards the tea, and by proxy Ralsei, could be because Noelle will never truly feel comfortable in a town controlled by her mother, where her father is sick and is filled with constant reminders of her lost sister. Chris has always felt like an outsider, and they still know that there are people there who care about them. Susie, who seems to have come to the town later than the others, would be able to taste the tea. She gets more healing because she generally likes Ralsei the person, while Chris and Noelle don't seem particularly close to him. Why doesn't Ralsei speak up about the Roaring sooner? I think that it's just because it never came up naturally, or that he didn't want to freak out Chris and Susie. We can see that when he asks Chris if they can handle trying to spare enemies, he regrets putting that pressure on them if we select the ... option. He's just a lonely boy who wants to make some friends, and telling them about the end of the world right off the bat may not be the best way to do that. Why does Ralsei quote Flowey? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe saying that the soul is the very culmination of your being is just a common phrase among beings who have and utilize souls. Do I think that this is the most plausible theory for what Ralsei's light world equivalent is, based on the information that we have at the moment? Yes. Do I think that this theory eliminates the possibility that Ralsei is evil or going to turn on us? No, but I don't think that it's likely that that's the direction the game will be going in future chapters. Thank you for watching this beast of a video, and let me know what you think down in the comments section. Am I absolutely crazy? Who knows? So, bye!